This week I hit 3,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now that might seem like small fry in the great scheme of things with all the big YouTubers around, but to me it's a big deal. So as a thank you to all those of you who subscribed, I want to tell you the story of how this channel accidentally came to be and why it took me 8 years to get it monetized. I think I've done it. Step 1 done, step 2 done. I guess that's it. Taking me 8 years to get monetized. Before we get to that, let's go back to the start. In 2010, I was working as a classroom music teacher for year 11 and 12s at a high school in Brisbane. This was a bit of a special high school because rather than studying classical music, which most high school curriculums tend to do, this school was focused on relevance to the Australian music industry. So that involved helping students learn how to perform, compose and analyse popular music with an emphasis on helping them to find their own voice and their own form of expression. As a way to tie all this together, I made it a priority for my students to learn how to record themselves using Pro Tools. This is partly because it's a no-brainer that every musician should know how to record themselves, but also because the majority of these students who, as I mentioned, were in year 11 and 12, didn't know how to read or write music. So recording music in Pro Tools allowed them to create music in their own way and hand in their music assignments as audio files instead of sheet music, because it's the musical content that matters, not the format in which it's delivered. As well as drum kits, amps and guitars, my classroom had a full suite of audio interfaces, MIDI keyboards, headphones, microphones, laptops and everything they needed to record themselves. It was a dream classroom, or it should have been. For some reason, my students did not enjoy recording at all. They found it annoying, they found it tedious, and they needed a lot of one-on-one help from me to just learn the basic features of Pro Tools. And then after I'd shown them, they'd forget it almost immediately. So I'd have to show them again and again and again every lesson. And with only one of me and 25 of them, it just wasn't sustainable. So I thought, I know, I'll make instruction sheets. So as teachers do, I sacrificed weeknights and weekends to put together the best set of Pro Tools instruction sheets that I could. And when they were done, I proudly presented these instruction sheets to my students and they hated them. It didn't even matter that there were pictures. After about maybe 5 minutes of trying to use the instruction sheets, they would usually give up and say, "This is too hard. Can you just show us how to do it?" And I'd be like, "But it's all right here on the instruction sheets that I made." And they'd be like, "But it's too hard. Can you just show us?" And I'd be like, "But there's pictures. There's steps. It couldn't be easier. It's all right here. Just use the sheet." But it didn't make a difference. They just hated following instructions, and so they wouldn't use them. I was right back where I started, going around the room one student at a time, spoon-feeding the same basic information over and over again. After about a year of this, I thought, this is not working. I need to do something better. I need to go above and beyond. Maybe I need to create instructional videos. High quality, step-by-step instructional videos like the ones that you see on the internet. That'll make a difference. So as teachers do, I sacrificed more nights and weekends to create the best set of instructional videos that I could. I even purchased screen capture software out of my own pocket, whatever it took. And this is where YouTube comes in. At the beginning of the 2012 school year, I created my own little YouTube channel where I uploaded all this content as unlisted videos so that only my students could access them. Then I proudly presented the videos to my students, and guess what? They hated them. It was the same thing as before with the instruction sheets. It didn't seem to matter how the information was delivered, as an instruction sheet or as a video. They just hated following instructions. It was always, "This is too hard. Can you just show me how to do it?" And I'd be like, "But I made these videos. Just watch the videos." And they'd be like, "Yeah, but it's too hard. Can you just show me how to do it?" So I was right back where I started, going around the classroom one student at a time, spoon-feeding the same basic information over and over again. I don't get it. I didn't get it back then. I still don't get it now. Not only was audio recording supposed to be the easy alternative to writing out sheet music, but these were teenagers who wanted to become working musicians in the music industry, and they couldn't be bothered to learn how to record themselves. I'd say that's pretty much a minimum requirement these days, that musicians should know how to record themselves, even if it's just to make demos. Now, to be fair, there was a small group of students who got it, who realised that if they could learn how to record, that they'd be able to share their music with the world. But the majority of those students, unfortunately, were pretty lazy. Anyway, to cut a long story short, over the next few years, I poured so much time and energy into my teaching that I started to wear down and burn out. I won't go into the details, but I came to the realization that classroom teaching was not for me. So at the end of 2013, I quit. And to be honest, I walked away from my career as a classroom teacher feeling like I'd wasted years of my life. This, by the way, is a common story. Classroom teaching has an astonishing burnout rate, so I take my hat off to any teacher who can make a long-term career out of it. Well done. In the years that followed, I found my calling as a guitar teacher, and that's what I still do now, full-time. I love it. For me, it's a completely different and much more rewarding form of teaching that just really suits me. But what does all this have to do with my YouTube channel? Well, when I walked away from teaching, I forgot all about those instructional videos that I'd made. I moved on with my life and I didn't think about them again. That was until a few years ago in 2017 when YouTube recommended one of my own videos to me. How to record a song in Pro Tools from scratch. I was a bit surprised because I thought I'd set all those videos to private, but I guess I'd forgotten with this one. Then I took a look at the view count. Oh my gosh, this video had been viewed almost 400,000 times. Not only that, but over 700 people had subscribed to my channel. I started browsing through I started browsing through all the comments that people had left. And to be honest, it was kind of overwhelming. I mean, to me, this video represented one of my greatest failures. But to the hundreds of thousands of people who'd watched the video, it was the greatest thing ever. I mean, it was just a stupid Pro Tools video, but it had helped them. And obviously, it's never a good idea to base your sense of self-worth on social media likes, of course. But for me, this was different. This was healing. To finally realize that all those years ago, when I put in all that time and all that effort into making that content, that it wasn't worthless, that I'd maybe just put it in front of the wrong audience. A few years later, in 2019, I checked the video again to find that it now had over 500,000 views and my subscribers had grown to over 1,000. At this point, I thought, maybe I need to make a second video. So I did. I made a video called How to Play Drums on a MIDI Keyboard. And then I made another one called How to Connect a MIDI Keyboard to Pro Tools. As you can tell from the titles, these are not fun, entertaining videos. They're dry, straight up instructional material. But people found them and people watched them and my channel kept growing. And then I started to think, maybe I can make some money from this. Now, YouTube's monetization rules have changed over the years, but at the time, you needed to have over 1,000 subscribers, which I had, and over 4,000 view hours within the space of 12 months, which I didn't have yet. But I kept making more and more videos, and eventually, little by little, the numbers started to pile up. Hit refresh. Here we go, monetization. I think I've done it. One done, step 2 done. I guess that's it. I guess I'm monetized. I just gotta wait for YouTube to contact me. How do you spell Lamborghini? Like, do I get the money now? Like,
I think someone will knock on the door any second with a big check.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I was thinking.
Big novelty checks.
Yeah. Should we go on realestate.com and look for some islands?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before you get too excited, I only made about 12 cents on my first day monetized, but it's growing all the time and now I make enough to cover the basic costs of running the channel, which is fortunate because most of my gig work dried up due to COVID-19. Currently, at the time of filming this, my channel has 78 videos, over 700,000 views, and as you know, 3,000 subscribers. I'm also getting about 100 new subscribers every month and growing. In the grand scheme of things, I'm aware that this is really still a very tiny little channel, but I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of the content that I create. Thank you again to all my 3,000 subscribers. I hope you enjoyed hearing the story of how this YouTube channel accidentally came to be and why it took me 8 years to get monetized. As always, if you want to learn how to make music, record music, and build musical stuff, start now by hitting the subscribe button below. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.